Rose, Sacred Vibrant Health. It's Dr. Rachel Northern here, and I'm in my office today. We're talking about optimizing pregnancy or having a wellness pregnancy. And optimizing is a great word because it's making the best of a situation or of what's going on. So what we can do as chiropractors, we can really help with that. So we're going to talk about this no matter what situation you're in. Let me get my PowerPoint ready. Okay, there we go. So no matter what stage of life you're going through your pregnancy with, whether you're young in your pregnancy, older, what kind of personality you are, we all need to help each other first off as a tribe. And that's why I'm part of this wellness tribe. And what is a wellness pregnancy? Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. It's about paying attention to two things. First off, paying attention before you get pregnant. So that's a great thing to get your body all primed. Just make sure you have good nutrients. Make sure you're eating healthy and doing things to help you either conceive or also just help that baby thrive while it's growing in you. So, and both of you guys thrive, actually. That's what I love to have. So actually starting before you even get pregnant is a great start, prevention of problems. And, making sure you take care of yourself through the pregnancy in different ways. So we're going to talk about that. One way we're going to talk about is like what I do as a chiropractor. A lot of people think that pregnant women can't get adjusted. They can. It's very safe for pregnant women to get adjusted. I do have a certification we're going to talk about a little bit later to help women through pregnancy and make sure they're adjusted and their pelvis is balanced, and is very safe, very effective, very helpful. So also we'll talk about nutrition, exercise, and then just choosing what kind of healthcare providers you want to make sure you have a wellness pregnancy. So with that, why get chiropractic care before or after or during pregnancy? And there's a couple reasons why. So what we can do, we're the only practitioners that know how to actually adjust and balance the pelvis and help the spine and the nervous system work optimally. That's what we're primarily trained in doing. We do that by eliminating what we call subluxation, so misalignments, distortions a little bit, that happen because of stresses of life in different ways, and we help find those problems and correct those problems in a safe, effective way. So, preparing the body for conception. So, if your nervous system's optimally functioning, that can help you conceive. If the fallopian tubes are working and moving the eggs and just making sure the nervous system can communicate with your brain down to your uterus and down to your ovaries. You want to make sure all those things are optimally functioning. So that's what we do. Also, it's a good thing to prevent symptoms. So I don't know how many people I've saved from preventing symptoms because they don't ever happen. So that's a hard thing to research. All we can do is research people under chiropractic care that, whether pregnancy or other areas of life. So say one group of people went to the chiropractor and one group of people didn't go to the chiropractor, and they can monitor those people, and they do tend to see people who go to the chiropractor, labor times are decreased by a couple hours. So there's something to that. Also, just general public, people who go to the chiropractor seem to overcome illnesses, immune system boosting a little bit quicker than those that don't go to the chiropractor. So there is some research showing these things. So just optimally preventing symptoms, or some people don't even get sick as much when they're under the chiropractor. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of good measurement and prevention. There's a lot of things on other things like pain and neck pain in chiropractic, but not all these other functions that people don't think about. So the other benefits are just feeling good through the pregnancy, like I was saying, make the most of this this time of their lives. So making sure that they can feel better and move better. We do want you to move. We're going to talk about exercise a little later. So making sure you can do these things a little bit easier. Chiropractic can help with that. And also making sure the fetal position is really good, making sure the baby has room and be able to move as it needs to. And like I said before, it can shorten labor time. We've had some good research on that. That's been out for actually over a decade now. So this is the technique called the benefits of the Webster technique. So the Webster technique was created over a decade or plus years ago, probably 2 decades plus years ago at this point, because I've been certified for over a decade, I believe now. So this technique is specific specific chiropractic technique that helps adjust and analyze the pelvis, mostly the sacrum, and make sure all these pelvic nerves are able to communicate to the uterus and to the organs and to all the functioning things that we need to be operating pretty good at this time. With the growth of the fetus and the baby, you want to make sure that everything is moving properly. There's a lot of shifting going on in the weights of the baby and the woman's posture because of carrying these extra weights. So we want to help the pelvis adjust to those a little bit more optimally. So this is one technique that helps with that, helps keep the pelvis balanced. Unfortunately, a lot of times I'll have patients come in at like 3 weeks before delivery and say the baby's breech or not in the right position, and they saw this on the internet that Webster technique can help, to help the baby descend and like makes sense. You balance the pelvis, it gives a little more room for the baby to feel more comfortable to turn and get where they're supposed to. But when it's all the way down to like 3 weeks before delivery, it's not as successful technique, I'll be honest with you, because who knows how long that woman's pelvis has been distorted. So sometimes it's like, it's hard to get that pelvis to get back in line when it's been out of alignment for so long under all this pressure. Thank God that so far, most of my women that I've taken care of, or all the women I've taken care of, the baby has changed position and we have had a great delivery. But unfortunately, that's not great to wait till last minute. So that's why I like to people to start early in pregnancy so that we can make sure we can help those distortions that might have been there a long time to help give us time to correct those. So then when the weight is heavier as the baby grows, that's balanced for that time. So it does lead to releasing the restrictions a little bit. There's got to be restriction in there, but we want to make sure it's balanced. It helps the nerves communicate so they have consistent contractions when labor comes into play. And I just was talking a couple months ago to she was an OB nurse now, she's a lactation consultant, and she was talking about how when she was in labor, they'd see how one side was contracting and one side was not, and they didn't understand, the medical field didn't understand why that happens. They just thought it's like a weird fluke thing. Well, I know it could be because the nerves aren't communicating effectively in that balanced position. So if we balance that out, that could help those effective contractions and make for a healthier birth. So the thing is, treatment-wise, to come in, we generally recommend in the early stages of pregnancy, at least coming in every 2 weeks to just make sure we're confirming, unless I find some old injuries or old subluxations that we would call that traumas that's been there for a long time, might take a little bit longer, but most traditionally we'll see every 2 weeks, and then about to the last month of care, 4 to 6 weeks, we want to see the woman at least once a week. So that's because there's that rapid growth is happening, a lot of transition is happening. So you want to stay on top of that and make sure that pelvis is balanced. What's nice about this technique, it's very gentle, it's very safe. A lot of it's just a little bit of trigger points and a little bit of adjusting, which I do low force adjusting anyway, and I don't do manual adjusting, I do the activator technique, so that's even better. And so we're very careful about evaluating, and then we also review what they're doing exercise-wise, what kind of stretches and stuff they can do. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here. So, I already talked about the lifestyle. We do modify some of the exercises as the pregnancy goes along, as you see fit. But one lifestyle advice I give, or several lifestyles, is obviously pay attention to your body. Let's pay attention to what you're doing. You're not only eating for one person, you're eating for two, and it does matter. It does matter what your nutrients you're putting in. If you're a vapor, I have this picture of the vape, it's just prevalent in this society. That's one thing I definitely recommend. Not only quit smoking, obviously drop alcohol, reduce your caffeine intake. If most eliminated would be great. Any chemicals that you might be exposed to. Sometimes even I talk about my detox talks, which you can go back to and watch one of those, but pay attention to even what you're putting on your skin, because you don't know exactly what's in that. So you want to just protect everything of your health as possible. And make sure a lot of times the doctors say you need this shot or that shot during pregnancy. I just say make sure and ask them if it's safe and effective for pregnancy, if they've done their research. You have the right to ask those questions, saying, hey, before you inject me with anything, I'd like to see the research that it's okay and it's safe with pregnancy. And, let them come up with that data if it is safe. As far as that goes, nutrition, paying attention to what you put in, try to optimize, what you're eating, healthy things. Obviously, we do have those pregnancy cravings, and sometimes those are beneficial. Like that's pretty much your body saying you do need more magnesium if maybe, maybe you're craving something or whatever it is. I'm like a little joke about pickles. Well, maybe you need a little bit more of that vinegar. So that kind of thing. Just listen to your body. That's fine. Obviously, try not to, if it's French fries. I'll honestly admit I craved with certain French fries back in the day when I was pregnant, and I was like, okay, once in a while, but don't be trying to make that a habit. Also, again, pay attention to labels, pay attention to what you're putting in your body, try to read labels and all that. Most of the women that come in here are very conscious of that, and sometimes they'll point something out on a label that I didn't even catch to make sure it's safe for pregnancy. So it's great to be paying attention to those things, those labels. Again, eliminate caffeine, all of those artificial sweeteners, like hydrogenous corn syrup as well. I don't like that. That one's really harsh on the liver, so that's just not really good. That can also spike your sugars in your bloodstream, which you don't want to have, like diabetes while you're pregnant. It's not fun. Soft drinks as well. Try to eliminate those. Try to stick with your drinking your water. It's okay to add fruit, just like fruit to your water, lemon, that kind of thing to have some flavor to your water. Maximize your water. I say a little bit of fruit juice, but pay attention again to those sugars. Refined sugar, like we were saying, eliminate that. White flour and rice, try to minimize those as well. I already talked about the hydrogenous corn syrup. Anything pre-packaged, again, try to get things that are whole, like, when you grab a bag of carrots, it just got carrots. Try to see the minimum amount of things on the label. That's great. Trans fats, unhealthy fats, your fast food fats, your processed foods, try to make that. Obviously, fast food, minimize that exposure as well, because all of those have all the junk in them. It's for the shelf life, to make it taste good, the flavor enhancers. That's just really not good for you or the baby. So, also just maximize your drinking water. That's a really important time. Like I said, you can always try to do some little bit of flavor in there. Just pay attention to what you're putting in the water. But try to get like that minimum of 8 cups a day, if not more during pregnancy, especially after you go. I know as we get bigger in that pregnancy towards the later months, then the bladder is getting smaller, getting a lot of pressure on it, so you have to go to the bathroom more, take those bathroom breaks. So just try to maybe just sip through the day. I kind of tell that anyway, just try to sip your water through the day, so hopefully you don't have to do those bathroom breaks as often with that. So obviously increase your fruits and vegetables. Just do the best. That's what is helpful when you do the journaling of trying to pay attention to what you're putting in your body, is that helps you be accountable and be like, oh, I only have like 2 servings of vegetables or 2 servings of fruits and vegetables. So, and try to eat a variety of different colors of your fruits, vegetables, etc., because you want that baby to get all the different phytonutrients to thrive. And then also nuts and seeds are really great. I like to stick with the low gluten or no gluten grains, so your quinoa, your brown rices, those kind of things. I really suggest those. And then you can just have those smaller meals, because as like your belly gets, the bladder gets kind of pushed down and the stomach gets pushed up because they're making room in here. So eating smaller meals is helpful for digestion. My recommendation also, back to some research, is talking about once you start to eat, that starts a kind of like a cascade effect of how your digestive system works and your colon works. So generally they say try to at least have 2 hours between meals, like an hour and a half to 2 hours, because there's like a rhythm that happens, and when you kind of interrupt that and then eat like 30 minutes later, it starts that rhythm all over, and it kind of makes it like the rhythm get off. So for most effective digestion, we're saying to try to space your meals between every 2 hours. So, and then the whole food prenatal vitamins. So whole food is saying that it is want to make sure your label is saying whole food, or you can actually see like broccoli on there, or actually see these whole foods on the label. And then also you want to make sure to do like omega-3, so fish oil or flaxseed oil, and again, make sure those are fresh. And unfortunately, it's a $1 billion industry. There's a lot of synthetic chemicals and unfortunately over-the-counter vitamins. And so make sure that you get a real good quality one. Even stuff you get from the pharmacist or even the doctor prescribes a lot of times, sometimes those are just a high volume of synthetic or you know, man-made vitamins or push vitamins. So try to get a more of a holistic thing, do your research. Obviously here in the office we sell some more holistic whole food vitamins that are healthy and safe and been tested versus some of the things you can get out there on the internet or in just the drugstore. So be really investigative even in the vitamins you buy and what you put in there. And then, you know, evaluate how well you're moving. Do you got a desk job? Then can you get up and walk around the office, do the stairs at the upstairs at the office, or if you're even at home, making sure you're doing those times of making sure you're staying active. You know, do you have an exercise routine? Now, if you're already going into pregnancy and you have a healthy exercise routine and you're feeling good about it, you can stay with that. Usually I can do recommendations of tweaking that as we get towards the end of pregnancy. Obviously, you might have to do less, but it's safe and effective if you already are doing certain things. It's fine to stay with that. Now, if you're not pregnant and didn't really work out before, then I would recommend a couple of things going into that. So these are things. Pay attention to how much you sit at work or otherwise, which we just talked about. And then pay attention to what you're doing activity-wise too with your family. Like this should be a time of like just letting your body do the work and not being stressed. So maybe you have to like cancel some commitments, cancel things that you used to do all the time just to make sure you're honoring your rest time and honoring your body. So I tend to get overscheduled I have lots of friends and family that I love to engage with. I'm a quality time person. So during that time, if you're that kind of person, maybe you need to step back and say, only let yourself do one outing a month or one outing a week or however you do, but pay attention to what you're doing all the time. Also with your work, maybe you have to step back and say, hey, I have to work less. Nowadays, a lot of employers are giving lots of time off for their employees after they have the baby, but sometimes maybe you need some time that couple weeks before. So start thinking about what do you think would work for you, and start thinking forward of what's best for you and your family and your home. So the exercise routine I'd recommend, if you're saying you're not active before the pregnancy or even now if you're wanting to get pregnant, just make sure, getting some walking in. So either, a couple times, start off maybe a couple times a week, twice a week. Try to start with 10 to 15 minutes and then try to get at least a third or half a mile in. Then try to increase that, So the goal ultimately is try to get 4 to 5 times a week where you're walking at least 45 minutes, 2 to 3 miles total. And the research says out there, even if you try to do 10, 15 minutes 2 or 3 times a day, if it's still a total of that 45 minutes, that's great that you can do that. So I have some people maybe walk in the morning, I have some people come home from work and they walk, some people maybe walk on their lunch break and then come home and walk again. So try to figure it out. Even if you have to piecemeal this activity, it's still overall going to be beneficial for you. So there's not always this one size, one thing, fits all. Figure out how you can incorporate this into your lifestyle. Other things, considerations you can do, stationary bike is really good to engage in. Water aerobics is wonderful for during pregnancy. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of close gyms that have pools close to us right here to offer that more often, but those people who are close to those places that do have water aerobics, definitely engage in that. Yoga is a really good thing. There's actually yoga for pregnancy. There's probably a ton of videos out there you can probably get into. I used to have a book here that I loaned out and it never came back, unfortunately. So I used to have one I loaned out for yoga pregnancy positions that were good. So those are a lot of books out there you can get, activities. And then this is kind of getting to the end of the slides here. Building your pregnancy healthcare team. I talk about this in my other talks. You know, you are your advocate. You have to be your own advocate. You're in charge of your health. So be the owner of that. And so, you know, pay attention to who, you know, your obstetrician, or if you're a midwife. In the state of Illinois, we don't have very many midwives around, so a lot of people go to Wisconsin and have some midwives up there. There's birthing centers up there. Here we only have hospitals where we're at in this area. But try to find somebody that you trust, that you have feel good bedside manner with. A doula, we're going to talk a little bit about what a doula is. You know, our Dr. Kendall is a chiropractor that's certified in the Webster technique like I am. There is the ICPA.org website. You can go on there and find somebody that's certified in Webster. That's where I got my certification on. And then a lactation consultant. I have a couple that I can refer to on that if you have that. So you can contact the office here, you're local, and you want some names for that. And so, the midwife is just somebody who supports your desires, how you want to go about things. If you want a natural delivery, I personally am in the holistic field. I had natural deliveries. I have midwives for my children. That's kind of what people that come into here kind of want, more of that natural delivery scenario. So I support women however they want to do things, but I'm more on the slant of let's try to do as natural as possible. I'm very blessed that I had the regular natural deliveries with midwives. But if you have to do other ways, that's fine. Let's still make sure you're healthy as possible. You want to make sure, trying to find someone who's like more non-invasive, that doesn't want to be too aggressive on you. I'm having a lot of older generationalize this generation, I should say, is they want to have pregnancy a little bit later, so we're having mid-30s. So they're more concerned about that because it's kind of towards later in the your time of life, and so they're kind of more concerned. They might think that you're more high risk pregnancy, but really it's if you're staying healthy and doing things that you need to do, then we should be fine with that. So don't let the scare here of the medical field make you think that you're not capable of having a natural pregnancy when you're in your mid-30s or late 30s. You don't want to have a C-section unless it's a last resort, because it's not the best, most optimal way to deliver a baby. Obviously, things happen. I want a healthy mom and a healthy baby. That's the ultimate thing. But you don't want someone that just that's the first thing they're going to go to. You want to see if there's other options for that. Let's talk about doulas. What are doulas? So doulas so first off, they realize that this is a process of a life experience, that the mom's going to remember, and they want it to make it as physically and emotionally, helpful as possible. They want to be there, assist you in whatever you need during labor. So obviously you want your partner there to help with those things as well, but it's nice to have a little extra hand in that. With me having a midwife, she was kind of like a doula as well, so it was nice to have her not just come in at the end and catch the baby. It's nice to have them there. She was there 3 hours before I delivered and helped me through things, and so doulas are that kind of like they're usually mom and dad or partners are like they're so in it and they're trying to stay focused. They're kind of maybe more doula is a more level-headed person, kind of assessing what's going on and assisting what the parents actually want. So a lot of times you can write a birth plan, kind of say this is how we want. So so the laugh is like, okay, you can write a plan, but when everything happens, it happens. So it's just like your intentions is fine. So they try to make sure that as much as possible we can go with the intentions for how you want the delivery to go. They want to make sure that they're there the whole time. Like I said, you want to make sure they're comfortable, making sure they can communicate, help the communication with the doctors as well, or whoever's in play with the whole situation. So they're really just assistants in the birth process. They want to help you have the best experience possible and assist you in that. So this one is just talking about where I come in too at the end when okay, we have this beautiful baby. I love doing checking the babies too. So who knows, however the birth process, even if it's a beautiful experience, it still is pretty traumatic on the baby. So I always do, when you're a patient of mine and you've gone through chiropractic through the pregnancy, I always like to do a complimentary check to make sure baby's neck's right, the pelvis is right. I want to make sure that baby starts off thriving again. So make sure that nervous system optionally. So that most, powerful adjustment, trying to help with that. So that's kind of another thing I do. So if you guys are interested in other things, or if I can help you in any way, like go ahead and you can call and text the office if you want to make an appointment to help with whatever aspects of health, either you are pregnant or you're thinking about getting pregnant. It's a great time to start anytime in your journey. Invest in your health today, and here's some information here. I do have YouTube talks on all different topics. I love just talking about health. I do have a book on Amazon called Journey to Vibrant Health, and I'm Family Wellness Chiropractor. So thanks for joining me today.